one. Hello, hello, hello. I am Dave Mamano, the host of The Gonzo Experience. Welcome to the show. Today I have on the show not only a good friend for many, many years we're trying to figure out, I think it's at least 15 years, if not more, but also just a great human and a great business warrior. Jen, I want to call you Jen Walzer because that's your maiden name. That's when I met you. But now you're Jennifer Berkowitz. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Thanks. I'm so happy to be a part of it. I'm a huge fan of yours, as you know, so I'm happy to join you today. Thank you.
Listen, I'm looking for people to be president of my fan club if you got some spare time.
Well, I'll fight the person if there's already someone in there because I'm a huge fan. Huge cheerleader of yours.
You're in. So Jen, thanks for sharing Heartbeats with me today. Truly appreciate it. You're such a special soul. I'm just gonna tell our listeners, our viewers, kind of a quick elevator pitch about your history. When I met you, you were in New York City, a woman. You still are a woman, but back then you were a woman in a tech business, and especially back then, which I think it's a little more common now, but especially back then, you were kind of a warrior, right? I mean, there were not a lot of women CEOs of tech companies. You started a company called Back Up My Info, Boomy, which I loved it, and I met you through the great Rob Levin. Thank you, Rob Levin.
Rob
is a special guy. But so you were running this company right in downtown Manhattan. I came to your office and really impressive. And you were on the cutting edge of companies saying, oh my God, we need to back up all our information, like offsite, quote unquote, in the cloud back then, which was like, what are you talking about? So that it was safe, so if disaster hit. So you did that, built a great company, sold it, right? You went through the trials and tribulations of having Lyme disease. I was on your Facebook page today. I think you call yourself a Lyme warrior, which I love, right? And now you're also you're a business coach, R&J Advisory Group, right? You got trained through the Gazelles program with Vern Harnish, all that stuff, right? And so in addition to being the Lyme warrior and coaching, business coaching, you are also a toxin-free health advocate, right? And that's relatively new. I follow you on Facebook, and it's been great to see you kind of like have this epiphany of like, oh my God, all the chemicals we're putting, especially women with makeup, hair, etc.
It's scary.
And it's very scary. So you've done some wonderful things. You're doing some great things. Tell me, let's hear a little bit. I know you're really passionate about being the toxin-free advocate. Tell us a little bit about that, if you don't mind. What's going on in the world today with some of these toxins?
It's interesting, David. So what happened for me was a number of months ago, my middle sister, so I have two older sisters, and my middle sister has a daughter named Lauren who has type 1 diabetes, celiac, and Hashimoto's. Now I have Hashimoto's, Lyme disease, I've got trigeminal neuralgia, I've got some other issues. But what happened was my sister, her daughter, my niece, just turned 14, wanted to start wearing makeup. And Meredith said, you know what, I got to go find something clean, because one of the things I actually didn't know is that a lot of skincare and makeup has gluten in it. And so she had to go find something clean. And then as she started looking around, and Meredith and I are best friends, we were talking a lot, we started to learn about how toxic this industry was. Ready for this, David? Do you know the last time the beauty industry has updated their regulations? Just take a wild guess when the last time the regulations have been updated.
Well, I would like to think it was earlier this year.
I would love if it was early this year. It was 1938. 1938, you guys, we are all test subjects. The beauty industry is completely unregulated for the most part, and they are throwing us stuff that they are claiming to be clean, and they're claiming to be good for us, and we are being what we call greenwashed, which means that you can have 1% organic, 99% pesticides, and they can say they're an organic brand. the more I have learned about this industry, the more mortified I have become. I did not realize how toxic and poisonous my skincare and makeup has been on my body, literally affecting my central nervous system, my hormones, fertility, you name it, it's affecting us. It takes 26 seconds for these chemicals to be absorbed into our body, our largest organ. Here we are, David, we all talk about how we want to eat well, and make sure we're eating organic, but yet we're slopping poison on our face every day. And I had to wonder why 1 out of 3 women by the age of 30, why are we having autoimmune issues? There has to be something going on. And so I'm on this new mission right now. I partnered up with a company, a local company here that is the most incredible skincare brand. I am so impressed with them. Their skincare is incredible. They're all about sustainability, high performance. My skin has never felt or looked better at the age of 47. And so now I'm on this mission to educate as many people, men and women, children, as I can, to make sure that we are aware of the poisons and the toxins that are sitting in our beauty products, our shampoos, our soaps, our deodorants. It's scary, you guys. We have to make a change, and we have to tell this beauty industry that we're not going to become test subjects anymore. It's over with.
So 2 things. Number 1, 47. Oh, today's your birthday, by the way. Happy birthday.
Thanks. I feel good. I actually feel really good today. I'm like, it's just a number, right?
47 today. Yes.
Today.
For those of you watching this on our
wish me a happy birthday, everyone.
Gonzo Experience YouTube channel here, you'll see that Jen does not look 47, more like 27. So I think it's
I'm loving you.
I'm loving a lot of things. You look freaking fantastic.
Thanks. I feel good.
Number 2 is 1938. Is that what you said?
Yeah, the last time the regulations have been updated.
Like, why? How do they justify that? Welcome
to the lobbyist industry. It's a whole massive conversation probably for another time, but it's like anything else. It's, why were the cigarettes allowed for so long, right? They said it was good for you. So people in the 50s or whatever year it was, they thought, if the cigarette company's telling us it's great for us, why not? And it took, quite a long time, even still today, to get it off the market. So it's called business. You know?
It's so
money talks.
Yeah, it talks, and it makes us unhealthy. So unfortunately, well, I wish you well on that. I know that I switched to probably a couple of years ago. I switched to an aluminum-free deodorant.
That's a great choice.
I read something, and I'm like, why am I putting aluminum in my body so that I don't sweat? And so I use Tom's, right? And I don't wear makeup, believe it or not. This is my natural complexion. So.
But if you think about it, like even like skincare and stuff, and you have a daughter, like it's really scary. And what's even scarier right now is the amount of body burden going in our bodies, because with this whole pandemic and things that are going on out there, we have to watch our immune systems as much as possible. And again, we constantly look at our food and say, okay, let's make sure we're eating organic. Let's make sure we're eating clean, because we know what it feels like. If you're eating fast food for years and then all of a sudden you switch to clean eating, you feel different, right? You feel great. Well, it's like we're slathering on fast food on our faces for so many years. But I can 100% assure you, when you start to put, clean on your skin, you will feel like a different person. And with body burden, the amount of chemicals going in our body and being absorbed, I think they're saying now that's like 5 pounds a year of chemicals that women are ingesting. It's just disgusting of beauty products, that it'll help us keep our immune system strong so that, God forbid, COVID, affects us. It hopefully will be minimized a little bit.
Right. 5 pounds. That's just insane to think about.
So. I created a private Facebook group called Let's Get Clean with Jen. It's a silly name, but it's just basically all about, I'm doing all this incredible research on the industry, and it's called Let's Get Clean with Jen on Facebook. And I'm just doing a ton of research. I'm sharing it with all my friends. Anyone who's listening is welcome to join this group. We do a lot of fun things. We just did an exercise challenge, but it's all about educating and sharing all the knowledge I'm learning, so that, you as a woman or as a man, whether, you have children, like we all need to be educated. And it's actually a really fun group. And I'd love for anyone who listens in would love to join us.
I joined it.
Yep, that's right. You're in our group.
I did your water challenge.
You did the water challenge. I didn't see you on the exercise challenge, dude. Where were you on exercising?
I don't want to blow everybody away. I'm modest.
I know. We did a 5-day exercise challenge because, again, we're all, it's all about accountability. We got to help each other. But I did like 4 days. I couldn't get the 5th day in.
Yeah, I do exercise. I exercise every day, but I don't like to brag about it.
That's why you stay the way you do, right? You
Yeah,
look
yeah.
great.
You know me, so modest.
You're the best. I adore you. You're the best.
Right back at you. So, so listen, we'd like to talk about, the struggles, right? Like
Yeah.
entrepreneurs on this show, not only were they really successful and still are, but they're willing to get vulnerable and share behind the curtain, right? The good, bad, and ugly. And I know, so you're really going against the current, as we talked about, you know, New York City, the heart of business, and then you pick a business that's very male dominated, and
Yeah.
and you look really young, right? You were young back
Thanks.
then, but you looked even younger, and so you're going really against the current, and then some things, you have some challenges, right? You talked about when we were having lunch years ago, and you're like coughing like crazy, right? During the whole, and I felt bad. You felt bad, I'm like, what's wrong? And you're like, I don't know. And come to find
Yeah.
out, you had Lyme disease after you did some more research. So, what was, I mean, that I know from knowing you, that experience was, freaking hell. But tell us, like, how did you manage, your business, your life? I know you were, getting into your relationship with your now current husband, Brad, and the kids. And, so it was like everything happening to you at once, right?
Yeah.
But you continue to just plow forward, with positivity, with a great mindset. But I know, because we're friends, I know it was a struggle. So tell us about, how did you just get through that? And
Yeah.
I know there's still some struggles, because Lyme disease, there's after effects, right? But listen, you continued to rise and do great things. So if you don't mind, share
Thanks.
part of that journey.
Yeah, no, I don't mind at all. I've always been an open book. And yeah, so I started my company in 2003. Actually, it was late 2002. Started out of my apartment, like most entrepreneurs, lived on oatmeal and PB&J the first few years trying to get the business off the ground. Eventually, over time, it turned out to be a very profitable multi-million-dollar debt-free business. But during that time, right around, I don't remember what year it was probably around like 2006, I think, when I started to struggle, where I was starting to get symptoms that made no sense. At the same time, my business was growing pretty fast, and um, starting to get some really, really weird symptoms. My face started to go on fire, where I was getting like electric shocks to my face, which turned out to become trigeminal neuralgia, which is what I was diagnosed with. And then half my vocal cords became paralyzed. Then one of my eyeballs, this gets really weird, David, but one of my eyeballs, I don't know if you ever saw it when we were together, but I used to have one eyeball, my left eyeball would literally turn white. The pupil would turn white, like almost like a cataract looking thing. And doctors wouldn't believe me. They're like, I mean, I don't know how they couldn't believe me, because I was like, what am I, like, dying my eyeball? So like I would tell them over the phone, like, I swear it would happen for hours at a time. And I remember one day I was nearby my eye doctor, and I called. I'm like, it's happening right now. I ran to the office. They saw it. She saw it, and she's like, I've never seen this in my life. So here I am trying to run around, do it all, but at the same time, I'm getting all these weird symptoms. And what would happen is that doctors would cough it up as stress. Jen, you're stressed out. It's in your head. I was walked out of doctor's offices. People didn't believe me. I'm in pain. People that know me know I'm not a hypochondriac, but I was dealing with a lot of, problems. And then it would get so bad. I remember my cough used to get so bad, and not to get too visual TMI with you guys, but I remember at one point in time, I used to keep a garbage bag next to my desk, a garbage can, because there were times where I would be choking and coughing so much that the bathroom, so my office was at the end of the hall, basically, and for me to get to the bathroom, it kind of took a while, right? Like I was at the end of the hallway of the office. We had a floor. And so sometimes I would be choking and coughing so much that unfortunately I couldn't make it. So I would actually have a garbage bag next to me, and it would happen all the time. And so my team was like so stressed out over, like what's going on. And it was just, it was stressful. And so yeah, that was probably one of a really big challenge. And the thing that I was probably the most grateful for is having a very strong team. And, having a great team surrounding me was everything. I had a really just caring team. They knew they were worried what was going on with me at the time, but just having a team in place that really ran without me made things really made it for me. I'm very blessed to have them in my life because of that. And I always say to people, if you want to scale up, you got to have the right team. Don't expect it otherwise. And so I was able to get out of the office, go do what I needed to do. And the ironic thing is that in 2014, I ended up selling the company. I wasn't even looking to sell, David, but I just got an opportunity I just could not pass up. So I was able to move down to South Florida, financially retire. And of course, everyone telling me it was always stress. I thought, oh, perfect. I'm going to be healthy now, right? It's stress. It's all the stress for my business. Well, it turned out it was the complete opposite. So as soon as I moved down here, my body just literally fell apart. I became blind, bedridden, and that's when I found out I had Lyme disease. And I went through a really tough journey for the next couple of years, getting better. And thankfully today I'm doing much better. I'm healthy, or healthier. I still struggle, but I play tennis a lot. I try to, do what I can, and I'm very grateful to that.
You are, you're not only a Lyme warrior, I think you're just a warrior in general.
Well, what I say is, if you have your health, you have everything. And
Yeah.
I get calls probably almost every day, and I'm happy to help people, who are struggling, and, as far as that are either recently diagnosed with Lyme or trying to figure things out. And they all say to me the same question: Jen, how did you overcome it? Because Lyme, David, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Let's just put it that way. Lyme is just a horrible, horrible disease. But what I say to them is that I had a goal when I was sick, is that it's very easy for us to wallow in our own pain and frustration and just say, why me, woe is me, the whole 9 yards, right? But for me, I was so focused on figuring out how I was going to get better. Even though I was blind and bedridden and I couldn't do anything, for me, what that goal was is one day I wanted to learn how to play tennis, and I wanted to be on a tennis team. At the time, if you had asked me, but right when this was going on, I would have been like, I have no idea how the hell I was going to do it, but I just knew I was going to do it. And so it took me about 2 years. And I would even, once I started getting my eyesight back, I would literally drive by tennis courts and I would watch people play tennis. And I was so obsessed over it. And then once I started getting some strength, I would show up on the tennis courts for a few minutes and I would just do whatever I could. And I was so determined. I was so determined to get better that is what enabled me, I think, to where I'm at today. And now I'm captain of my tennis team. I play a lot of tennis. And before every match, I always tell the team, we are so grateful that not only do we have the ability and the health to play tennis, we're doing it on, last season was Thursday mornings at 10 a.m., not be in an office, be able to play tennis, enjoy the outdoors, be in paradise. That's what it's all about. And so having that goal to me was everything.
Yeah. Well, it's amazing how being grateful can do wonders for your mindset, right? I mean,
Incredible.
You're like, in the boxing ring for a while there with like Mike Tyson, and he's just going crazy on you. And, but you're punching back. You're punching back.
You have to. You have to.
You know what? You're grateful for the little fist that you have,
Actually, my hands are really small. But you know what? Like with everything, whether it's business, whether it's a personal issue, whether it's anything, just fight it,
I love it.
You just got to have that fight.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I want to let all of our Gonzo Experience listeners and viewers be able to, if they desire to learn more and share in the Jen Berkowitz love, how do they get in touch? Because you're seriously one of my favorite people.
Aw,
yeah,
thanks.
And it's a shame I haven't seen you in a few years because I'm in New York and you're in Florida. And
I know.
Obviously,
Come visit.
As soon as I can visit your state without having to quarantine for 2 weeks when I get back and vice versa.
I know. I remember when you came to stay with us in New Jersey. That was fun when we were there.
I did. I had some
Brad says hello.
And you were like, stay with Brad and me. And I'm like, all right, I appreciate that. And
I loved it. We had fun.
We always have a lot of fun. But how do people, they want to learn more about you, get in touch with you, Jen? What's the best way? Sure.
You can get in touch with me a few ways. Facebook's always great. I'm very active on Facebook. So it's Jennifer Walzer Berkowitz, B as in boy, ERKOWITZ. You can reach me on email. It's Jennifer at RANDJ advisorygroup.com, all spelled out. And R and J stands for Ryan and Jake. And the reality is that when I sold my company, and the company, it was a public company out in California, when they called me back in, the management team asked me to come back and consult to them. I realized I needed to have a quick company name. So I was looking at my son's pictures on my desk. I'm like, okay, R&J Advisory Group. And I just created it on the fly. So that, and I just kept that name all this time. So you can, reach me at Jennifer at R&J Advisory Group, or, yeah, LinkedIn works.
Yeah. And tell us again your Facebook group page if people want to join that.
Oh yeah. It's called Let's Get Clean Group with Jen. Let's get clean group with Jen. At some point I might change the name because whatever, but for right now, that's what it is.
And you do different things, right? There was the water challenge, the workout challenge, etc.
Yeah, and every Tuesday, typically I'll call it Toxic Tuesdays. I'll pick an ingredient, whether it's talc, it could be phenylethanol, like different ingredients that you're going to find in most of your products, God forbid, but you might find them. So I will do all the research for you guys and educate. And then we just do fun challenges. It's all about helping ourselves be healthier, live better lives. And that's what this group is all about. So it's all about sharing and helping one another. And I'm really loving it. It's a huge passion of mine. And my goal is to really grow it. So I would love it if all of your viewers, if this is of interest for them, to come join me. Love to meet them all.
Do it.
Do it. Come join me.
Gonzo Tribe.
Let's have fun.
Do it. Jen, huge hugs, massive love, and wishing you continued massive success.
Thank you. And to you too. And those who are watching, you guys all know we're huge fans of him. So kudos to him. And thanks for sharing all this with, all the time and educating all of us, because you have so many gifts to the world, but that's definitely one of them. You're just such an incredible entrepreneur, so passionate about educating others, growing others. It's really wonderful. And I just wish you all the best with your Gonzo show, because I think you're amazing, the Gonzo experience. So
you're the best. I'm going to call you every day.
Love it. Do it.
All right. Thanks, Jen. Thank you, Gonzo Experience family. And of course, check us out on the web at thegonzoexperience.com. Have a great day. Jen, happy birthday again. And make sure to stay awesome.
All right. Bye, you guys.
Take care. Bye-bye.